All right, ready to get this thing started. There's actually quite a few people here today. I appreciate that. Let me get the camera turned on. Well, there we go. All right, it is a nice December 27th. This is our last farming simulator stream of 2023. So the next one will be in the new year, which is crazy to think about. I know I keep saying it, but cannot believe it's already about to be 2024. That is a bit ridiculous. Somebody needs to slow time down. It's going by too fast. I was checking there. I was like, why do we have a bale over here? I was like, that's the one that was floating in midair. I remember now. I remember. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Back to our live stream for our Elmcreek run here. I think we're about to transition the field back there, way over there, to a different crop than grass. And I believe we'd settled on sorghum, maybe. Is it time to plant sorghum yet? Sorghum gets planted now, yes. So it is time to mow, time to get everything cleaned up, and time to plant our sorghum. So that is going to be what we're going to be doing today for sure. Hey, Stormy, how's it going? Hey, Yannick, Caden, probably Caden, right? Appreciate everybody joining. I'm very, very happy to see everybody here. I hope you all had for those of you who celebrate the holidays, I hope you had a good holiday. If you don't celebrate the holidays, I hope you had a good week anyway. You know what I mean? And then I hope you guys are having a good preparation for the new year. That'll be good. Let's just, while I'm talking, let me just get stuff going here. Let's get our tractor. We got to get over there and start baling some stuff. Obviously, we got to finish mowing these other 2 fields, but I want to get this first field, this far field, kind of in a good state. Figure out what we're going to do with it before I do anything else. Just get this one dealt with. Got a good amount of money off of this. The grass that we got off of this has been very, very useful. So I'm glad we did a few cycles of grass on it, even though we are, like I said, hopefully at the point where we can swap it over to a different crop at this point. Little tractor needs to be repaired soon. Got taken care of at some point. Volume's a little bit low. There we go. So by now, you guys should have seen that I have tried out the new fancy mowers or fancy balers. They're Are you not wrapping? What did I do? What did I do wrong? It's even got automatic drop turned off on, but it's not actually dropping. Like if it wasn't going to wrap, fine, whatever. It's not going to wrap. But it's not even dropping the unwrapped bale at all. What did I do? I broke it. I broke it. Game? I'm very confused. Have you guys ever had this happen before? I can't even drop the bale that we have. It's very stuck right now. My preparation for the new year is waiting for my... Ah, yes. See, I bought the Steam Deck, the original Steam Deck. So I've resisted the urge to buy the OLED one because I was like, yeah, I mean, it's probably better, and I know it is better, but I gotta get usage out of the one I got now. Yeah, I really like the Steam Deck itself. I think the new one looks really good. I might have to reload the game because this is... I don't understand what... I don't understand why this is not working. Okay, well, let's save. We'll do this. We'll get it figured out. We'll just reload real quick. I'm hoping that's all it needs. A little strange. I don't think I've ever had a baler just not work for me. You can see all the games that I have saved up. There we go. All my different series still just sitting there. Waiting if I ever decide. None of them. I'll never go back to any of them. But sometimes I go back and like look at like the state of things. I won't go back and play any of them, but I'll at least kind of remember where we were at. Hopefully this works because that's very strange. There we go. What in the world? Okay, well there you go, guys. When in doubt, restart. Turn it off. Turn it back on. That's pretty typical. Pretty typical computer suggestions. So all right, now we're back in our groove. Yes, yeah, I think the Steam Deck looks really, the new one looks really good. Obviously I think it's got more disk, or I say disk space, I guess it's technically what is solid state drive, whatever. It's got more storage space is probably the better way to put it. Truth be told, I do love the one I have because I've got the first version. I don't play it enough. I really don't. Because if I'm going to sit down and play a game these days, I'm usually at home, so I'm just going to play on my computer. It's very hard for me to sit down and play anything on a handheld unless I'm actually going to go somewhere. So I guess I just need to go more places. That's my problem right there. I need to go more places so I can play more video games away from home instead of being at home playing video games. Somehow there's some logic in there somewhere, I think. I actually knew a guy in at my job. It's years ago. I've been at my job for like 11 years, but I met him like second year there, something like that. So it's been a long time. But anyway, he was going to take a trip around the world, and part of his motivation for taking a trip around the world was he was going to go see all of the Civilization 6 wonders that still, you know, that exist, obviously. So any wonder that you find in Civilization 6, actually, are any of them unexisting? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the list again. But he was going to go through, basically take a picture of all the Civilization 6 wonders around the world, which I thought was really, really awesome. That would be a fun trip. A little bit bigger. Yeah, that's cool. And obviously the color's going to be better on the newer Steam Deck. That does make a lot of sense. I've played a Switch, and there's nothing wrong with the Switch. I mean, it's fine. It's not for me, I'll be honest. The controls and the way it feels just isn't quite for me. But I thought the Steam Deck felt really, really comfortable, for me at least. We'll see. I might just be different. I'm sure everybody has their own opinions, so somebody out there will say I'm crazy to think it's comfortable, but I think it is pretty. Feels pretty good. I've also played the Steam controller. How long ago was it? It's been a while, but I think the Steam came out with I actually have one somewhere, a Steam controller that has like little touchpad thingies, kind of like the Steam Deck does. It was not good. I did not like the Steam controller, but I thought the Steam Deck, however they iterated on that original mindset of having that kind of touchpad for your thumbs where you can kind of use it like a mouse cursor, it worked better. They definitely just made some improvements for sure. Keep meaning to put like Diablo. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 lately. I keep meaning to put that on my Steam Deck. But I own the Blizzard version, not the Steam version, so I'd have to go. I definitely can put it on there. I know that you can put non-Steam games on your Steam Deck. I just have to go through the process. I just haven't done it yet. I've heard it plays pretty well. I actually think Farming Simulator would probably feel mostly, considering I use the controller all the time, I actually think this would feel very fine on the Steam Deck. I definitely need to try that out at some point. I think that'd be really cool. Must really not like my wallet. I don't know. Didn't cost any more than any other game, I guess. I didn't pay like for like the super duper legendary whatever $100 version. I just paid for the basic version because I like playing Diablo 4 just like I like playing Diablo 3, but I don't like it that much so that I'm like gonna go crazy and go buy like the most expensive version. And I don't pay for like any of the cosmetic stuff. I don't pay extra for anything like that. The way I look at D4 is actually cheaper for me because it's a game that I can pay for once, and then unless there's expansions stuff like that down the road, I just never pay for it again, and I still get hours upon hours of play out of it. I've definitely got my money's worth with D3, so I would imagine over time I will with D4, but you never know. Truth be told, I don't actually buy a lot of video games. Other than... to be fair, you guys, if you watch my channel at all, you have seen every video game that I own, that I play, aside from 3, I would say. I play World of Warcraft. I've mentioned that a few times. I still do that on the weekends with my guild mates. We still raid on the weekends, so not a huge time investment, just something I'd wake up on Saturdays, Sundays, and just have some fun. I play, obviously I mentioned I play Diablo, so I do play that, you know, occasionally. I've gotten into it more this week because I'm on holiday from work than I have in a while, but it's one of those games I'll pick up, play for a few weeks, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm good for a while. I don't play every season or anything like that. And then I do play, I'm working my way through all the Assassin's Creed games. I haven't made it very, well, I've made it pretty far. I've made it about halfway. I haven't got to Origins yet, believe it or not. I still have not made it to the Origin, any of the Origins games. So Egypt or Greece or any of those. So I haven't made it to the best Assassin's Creed games yet, which is funny. But I'm determined to work my way through them in an order. So I think I'm on the one in England. I forget which one that is. Not Brotherhood. What is it called? I don't remember. Unity? No, Unity was France, wasn't it? I don't remember which one's England is. But anyway, I'm on that one right now, which is I'm having fun with. I haven't touched it in a few weeks, but I'm hoping to get back to it over this holiday as well. Just one of those games I can pick up, play for a little bit, have some fun, and move on with my life. But other than that, every other game I play, I put on the channel. There's a lot of games I want to play, but every time I look at them, I'm like, well, you know what? That would be a good one for a series, so I just don't. I literally just don't play video games. Because if I don't have time to record a series for it, I'm like, all right, I'm just not going to play it today. It's weird. I did sit down over the weekend, or I think it was yesterday actually. I laid out kind of my plans for the 2024 year of kind of what games I'm going to be playing and kind of where I'm going to put stuff, things like that. So don't worry. Obviously you guys are here. Thank you, Syndicate. I knew that as soon as you said the name, I knew it makes sense to me, obviously. Farming Simulator is not going anywhere. It's definitely still going to be very present for a while. I will have the 2 other series still going for a while. Eventually, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Eventually, I hope to get down to 1 Let's Play series and 1 in the live stream, and that's it. So I'm going to eventually drop off 1 of the 2 Let's Plays. Not yet, though. I'm not quite ready to drop them off yet. They're actually still my most popular series right now. But I'm a guy that, and look, it actually hurts me to do this. It hurts me in the algorithm for YouTube to be a variety video game player. But that's what I enjoy. So I would rather be less successful on YouTube and enjoy it by playing lots of different video games than... Because I probably would have twice as many subscribers if the only game I played was Farming Simulator. Because the YouTube algorithm would love me and it would promote all my Farming Simulator videos and that would be it. But I would go out of my mind if the only game I played was Farming Simulator. Not that it's bad, obviously not. It's just, I love playing lots of different games. It fits that, I don't know how to explain it. It just fits that thing that I have that I love, just waking up one day and be like, okay, today I want to conquer the world. All right, today I want to go drive a tractor. Today I want to go, I don't know, whatever. Manage a football team in United Kingdom. I don't know, something. That's the thing I love about video games is I can wake up at any given time and be whatever I want to be on a given day. So that's the reason why I do variety. It does, again, like I said, hurt me on the algorithm. It's whatever. But so like I said, Farm Simulator is not going anywhere, but there will be some other fun games I think coming at some point. I actually have a couple people who have joined as Diamond channel members. Yannick, I think might still be here, is one of them. I appreciate that, Yannick, very much. Your game will definitely be coming at some point. I know you mentioned a couple games. I currently own one of them, which is actually Frostpunk. I own Frostpunk already, so I probably will just feature Frostpunk for now, just because I already own it. I'll need to look at it, though. I don't normally feature mature rated games on my channel, but I think it's mature rated for relatively lightweight reasons. I'll have to remember. I have to go back and look at it again. I have watched people play it, and I just don't remember why it's mature rated, unless it's just like themes and stuff. But yeah, I definitely will. That will be coming here in soon-ish, probably mid-January, because I have another one. Somebody else beat you to it. I don't know why. People just started doing Diamond memberships, and I really appreciate it very much. The other one was Steven, right? Steven. Oh, I'm gonna get his name wrong, and I want to give him good credit. 1 second. Let me just make sure I tell you the name right. Truth be told, I've just been getting a lot of people commenting lately, and so I want to make sure I'm... Yeah, Steven Foster. Okay, I had it right. He subscribed at Diamond level, so he asked me to play a game as well. So that'll be coming January 1st. I'll play his for a few weeks, and then I'll switch over to Frostpunk. It's possible I come back, circle back, and play either of those games longer than the 6 episodes that I promised, but we'll see. Well, I appreciate that you enjoy all the series. That's actually unusual for me, that somebody actually enjoys watching all the different series. The reason I pump out a lot of videos is just, like I said, I love playing video games. I love doing whatever. I don't expect anybody to watch all my series. That is, I appreciate it a lot. That's awesome. But truth be told, I watch all of, I mean, I've talked about it before. I watch Quill 18 a lot. I watch all of his series. It doesn't matter what they are. So, I watch a lot of variety of his stuff all the time. Oh, why did I turn you off? I'll leave this here for a second. We need to grab the trailer. Go pick up all those bales, prep the field, get it ready, plant our sorghum, and we'll be off. Oh, there's a brothel and moonshine in the game. Okay, well, I mean, again, as long as it doesn't show anything, it's just suggestive of the brothel. I don't really. That's not that big of a deal. And again, no judgment. If I'm not judging if there are games that show more mature themes. I try to keep my channel a bit more family friendly because, you know, like I said, I have kids and I'd love for them to be able to watch my channel with minimal issues. Like I said, I play Diablo 4. There's plenty of mature themes in Diablo 4. That's the reason why Diablo 4 will not be a game I play on the channel. But I have no problem playing games like that. Assassin's Creed 2. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff in Assassin's Creed that I just don't plan on showing. I mean, that makes sense. It's a building you build to keep... Yeah, that makes sense. It's... To be fair, it's life. It's real. I get the theme behind Frostpunk is actually another game that I was thinking about putting on the channel, but I'd have to kind of put a little bit of a... I think a disclaimer or something is... What's it called? Is it This War of Mine or something like that? Which obviously deals with, like, extreme, like, hardships of war and things like that. And so it gets, you know, it's violent and it's got a lot of language. But it's like, it's the type of thing that's like, look, this is life. Like, there's certain aspects of life that I'm like, you know, it's just part of it, right? Not a big deal. Oh, no. Don't worry, Yannick. You don't have to worry about it. Like I said, I've been wanting to put... I was thinking about putting that on the channel at one point anyway. I just got to make sure like I said, either, you know, set a warning or whatever, or something, depending on how bad it actually is. It's not that I'm afraid of playing it. I just want to make sure I prep it right on the channel so that people aren't surprised. Not even remotely a problem, I don't think. Oh, goodness. I actually slept late today, so I've only been up for a few hours. Because, I don't know, I was up late last night playing video games. And so I slept late as a result. Oh, the joys of having a couple days off from work. We're really about to have one bale left over. Oh, no, actually, this is it. I forgot. That's all we can put on here. I have not forgotten about it. Truth be told, I haven't done much with the YouTube channel in the last few days. I've kind of just relaxed. So I plan to record some episodes for new videos, stuff like that, here tomorrow probably. And so kind of when I sit down and go over the YouTube stuff, other than making the plan, I did sit down and make a little bit of the plan last night or yesterday, whatever. Other than that, I haven't really done anything with the YouTube channel. So I will circle back, and once I kind of sit down to do that, I will make sure because I want to do a video for kind of announcing, hey, here's the Discord channel, stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the Discord channel. Like, I don't want it to be... I need to go look up and see, like, how Quill does his, or how some of the other guys that I follow do theirs. Because I obviously don't want people to have to pay to be in the Discord channel. But at the same time, I don't want people to just, you know, show up and troll or, you know, whatever. I want to be protective of the Discord channel. So I've got to figure out how those guys do it and probably just emulate what they do. I need to put that on the left side. Oh, well, no biggie. Yeah, I would like to get that up and running because I think it'll be a lot of fun to have a better way to communicate. YouTube comments are not... I mean, I appreciate the comments, do not get me wrong, but they are not a good way to communicate back and forth, to be perfectly honest. It's very easy to lose track of a conversation with somebody. Okay, so that's that. Do we need lime that field? Or, I don't think we need a plow, right? I think you can plant grass. Do you? You have to cultivate, but I don't think you have to plow. What was I going to look for? I was looking for precision farming. There we go. Yeah, we need to fertilize, obviously. pH looks fine because we just did the pH not that long ago, so we're good there. So I need to get us a seeder. We were talking about seeders last time, and I definitely want a seeder that has a combination cultivator in it because I want to not have to do that step. So things like this are usually pretty good, but those are very expensive. I think we were talking about one of these on the very, very end, like the Cavernland, was it? No. I think it was this Pottinger, wasn't it? 41K? I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I usually go with this one because it's just small. It's cheap and easy and works fine. It's not the best for this particular farm because of the fact that it's so long, like it's extremely long. So it's a little hard to get position on some of the smaller, like the fields on the edges of the fields. It's not that bad. You just do a couple of hedgerows. It's a fine. I kind of like this one just better just because it will just maneuver better on our small farm. Problem is this one's actually slower. So this one is only a little bit more expensive and actually just a faster and better seeder in general. This one, yeah, does not have the cultivator attached. I'd love that one. That would actually be perfect. It's both 9 miles an hour and one that can sit on the back and not be that bad. Any other ones that I just don't remember? Don't think so. There's that one. That one does not have a... I mean, I could always cultivate first. I could always cultivate as a separate action if I so choose. There's this one, but that's the same as that other one. It's just a pulled one that... I mean, there's this one. It's a little bit smaller. It'd be more maneuverable, but it's still... It's not going to be any cheaper. I wish these were sorted better. Like, I know that when you add in mods and stuff like that, it just puts the mods on the end. But I wish these were, like, sorted in order of price and stuff like that. It would be a lot easier for me to sort through these. All right. How much is a cultivator just by itself? We have a cultivator, don't we? We have a subsoiler, which would count. We could just use the subsoiler to do the first action, but I'd rather just do it all at once. So I think we're just going to go ahead and settle for the ones that I usually get. It's not ideal, but it'll work. It'll get the job done. All right, we'll be boring. We'll be the same as always. I don't know why I'm suddenly... Yeah, make sure this is what I want. It does do sorghum, all that stuff. All right, we'll grab it. Not my favorite, but it's going to work. Suppose we could get rid of... Actually, yeah, we can, can't we? I mean, this thing, the grass thing that we have is faster. The little weeder thing. But... Because we have this one. No, we have this one. It's faster for the grass, right? Because it goes 9 miles an hour and it is 9 meters wide, so it's 3 times its width. But we're not really going to have to plant grass really at all. And so I think we just go sell that one. Because if we ever did need to do grass, we could just use our new seeder for it. Get us a little bit of money back on this thing. I mean, I could use this for weeding. But the problem with weeding, using this for weeding, is that it does not, as far as I remember, it does not work towards the precision farming stuff the same way. You actually have to spray with the spot sprayer to get full credit for the precision farming. Which seems backwards, right? Seems like using a weeder that doesn't spray chemicals would be better. But I guess, I don't know, the way they've got it represented in that you spot spray only where you need to spray is, I guess, the best of both worlds in some weird way. I need to clean up my personal Discord list. I'm in so many different servers that I probably never check. I need to clean that up so I don't like get distracted if I do set it up, and make sure I'm. If you're in too many, you just tend to ignore the ones that you don't care about. And I don't want to miss if I have my own server set up. I don't want to miss anything you guys say because that would be more important to me. Now we're going to go ahead and drop the seed off here. All right, let us repair for all $3 of it. Repaint and sell. And I guess I'll repair you while I'm sitting here. We made a little bit of money. It will help things. Yeah, I think this score will be good. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but honestly, until I really started doing the live stream and people, started showing up a bit more and having a bit more communication, like, it feels weird just to do a Discord when you just have comments on a video. But now that we're actually having a conversation, it makes a little more sense. So I definitely want to get that rolling. Do I have seeds to back? I don't know if I do or not. Even if I do, I'm going to grab some more. Can't have too many seeds. I mean, I guess you literally could have too many seeds, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Don't use mechanical weeders, which is, like I said, it just seems backwards, doesn't it? Like, it feels like if you were at the stage where you could just use a mechanical weeder, would that not just be more? Because the whole point of precision farming is that it's supposed to be good for the environment, right? You're being more efficient with your farming, so you're putting less pollutants into the air and doing less bad stuff, so you're just being more efficient overall. So I would just feel like mechanical weeding would be more efficient for the environment. Hey, Jarek, how's it going? We are working on here on Elmcreek. We got our little farm over here, and we're about to plant some sorghum. Exploits. Using mechanical weeder followed by herbicide will grant you the maximum yield and environmental score. Using herbicide on grass fields will boost your environmental score even though grass doesn't grow weeds. Yeah, interesting. Do you have any... Okay, Stormy, you can tell me this one. If you have some information about precision farming. Have you figured out a way for the vegetables on Zelanka? Because we don't have a direct drill seeder for those, right? Is there a way to get the tillage score that I'm missing? Somebody recommended trying a mulcher, which I don't... I mean, I'll try it. I have no problem trying anything. I don't think the mulcher will work, but I would love to be wrong. Do I do grass? Yes, I do grass. We actually just mowed a bunch of grass on this field in front of us. We also have grass back here behind us on the big field there and the little tiny field. And we turned all that into silage, which is what those bluish Bales are over there. So yeah, we got grass rolling for sure. That's how we're making most of our money. Yeah. All right. Will you go? Are you smart enough to go? You are smart enough to go. Okay. That's what I assumed, Stormy. But I know people had been suggesting things to try, and I'm like, you know what? It's worth trying them. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't do it with sugar beets or potatoes either. Had not just never. I don't ever do those enough to recognize that you can't even do those with those. I mean, this seeder is going to do the job, and we will. It is cheap and it's fine, and it obviously works with our tiny little tractor. But boy, is this thing slow! Only 3 meters wide. It's so slow. Let's get a little header here. Then we'll go the other direction. Okay, so sugar beets can be done because they have a direct drill. In fact, let's go look at that. Is that under? Or here? Are there direct drills in the planter section? Because I think sugar beets are in the planter section, aren't they? Yeah, there's nothing here. Which, these are all direct drill, right? Like, these all count as direct drill usually, I think. Do any of these, like, explicitly say that they're direct drill? Or are these all also direct drill? Is that the thing? These are all literally, like, anything that's under the seeder or planter category is a direct drill just by default, which might be exactly how it works. Because the potatoes are the only thing that's not in this list. Potatoes are in their own list, right? They're in... Potato. They're in here, right? You have to plant with one of these, just like the vegetables. Now, I did read that... Yeah, because there's no planter for sugar beets, so you do still direct. Okay, I think I see the difference now. Which you would think if you can do sugar beets with one of the planters, that you should be able to do red beets. I mean, I would imagine carrots too. I mean, I just don't see why not. You know, but maybe I'm wrong. The only thing I will say is that I obviously I don't use where is it this thing anymore. Yeah, I don't use the thing that gives us the little mounds anymore, but I think this adds a layer of fertilization, right? I think somebody might have mentioned that before, but this does add a layer of fertilization. Then you can plant over it, and then you can come fertilize back later with less fertilization needed. So it does, I mean, arguably, since you're gonna have to do a pass with this thing anyway, it's a good idea to do a pass with this while you're at it, and then you can use less fertilizer. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Fertilizers, we're making so much money off our vegetables in that run that doing a little bit of fertilizer is really not going to be... I'm going to have to do a passive fertilizer anyway, because as far as I know, it doesn't get you to 100%. So it's not that big of a deal. That's right. It doesn't do anything for precision farming. That's right. I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing that as well. I mean, I could turn off precision farming and just not use it, to be fair, because I think a lot of people probably don't use it at all. I personally like it for the most part. I think there's just a few quirks about it that are a little bit like, you know, I shouldn't be penalized just because I can't, like, if red beets and carrots and those, if there is no such thing as direct drilling, then shouldn't my tillage score be 100%? You know? Like, I mean, I shouldn't get penalized because it doesn't exist, right? In my opinion. Because if you think about it, if a method does not exist to direct drill, then am I not still being 100% the most efficient that I can be with whatever I have available? That's the way I look at it, I guess. Same thing with grass and weeds. If grass don't grow weeds, then is it not 100% efficiency on the weeds to not weed? I mean, I don't know. Just the way I look at it, I guess. Do a little bit of header here as well, because eventually this guy's gonna they're going to have some trouble here. Do I have any new series coming? I do not have any new Farming Simulator series coming, Jarek, because I'm going to continue the Zelanka for a little bit longer and Valley Springs, so I have both of those rolling. But I do have other new series for other games coming soon, if that's something that interests you. There will be there'll be a couple other games very soon. That's fair, Stormy. You're still getting a positive bonus. You're 100% right. It's just, to me, I'm like, I want that full 15%, right? You know, which honestly, I never even get close to 15% anyway, right? I usually hover around 14% because it's usually not quite perfect on the fertilizing for some reason on a lot of crops, or the weeds, or something goofy happens. So 14% is usually, I mean, I can get 15% a lot, but 14% is about where I hover. And I think right now on the vegetables, we're 13%. We're not that far off. We're actually getting almost full credit. What games? Well, I don't know. You'll have to see. I don't want to announce anything until I know for sure that I got it going. I have some ideas. I want to get back into Paradox games. I think I did EU4 a couple months back, and I've been wanting to get back into that. So do not be surprised if there is a Victoria 3 game coming up soon, because I've never played Victoria 3, and I've been wanting to. So expect that. That'll happen. And then I'm not very good at them, even though I really like them. There's a lot of sci-fi / fantasy games that I'd like to play. I think if you guys watch my channel at all, if you dig back into the depths of my channel, you'll see that I have a very terrible run of Galciv 3, Galactic Civilization 3, and I just gave up on that game. I'm just like, I can't play this game. I'm apparently not doing something right. Well, obviously Galciv 4 is out now, and I kind of want to give it another shot. So I might be trying to do a Galciv 4 run at some point in the near future. We'll see how that goes. And then, obviously, you said Stellaris, Stormy. I definitely want to get back into some Stellaris runs as well. Because I think I do like Stellaris. I don't play it very often because it just takes so long to play and it's hard to kind of find the time. So I want to find an excuse to put some Stellaris back on the channel, things like that. What other games do I have on my list? Different 4X games besides Civilization. I'd like to try some of those out. Don't get me wrong, I love Civilization. Civilization, it will always be there. But I have the live stream on Saturdays for Civilization, so I still have Civilization content. I kind of want to get into some of the other ones that have existed and have been around. I know Paradox is also coming up with their own 4X kind of Civilization type game, so I definitely want to try that out when it comes out. What else? I don't know. Other simulation games would be fun. I like trains. I don't think I've ever featured a train game on the channel. I'd like to get into some of that. That'd be fun. Stuff like that. A couple games that will never go away. I mean, there's probably almost always going to be a farming simulator something on the channel. There's almost always going to be something Civilization 6 on the channel. Well, at least until Civilization 7 comes out. And then for now, at least, there's going to be Football Manager. Because that's, even though Football Manager is not a popular game on my channel from the viewer standpoint, it's still one of my favorite games, so I have to play it. So every once in a while, I'm just gonna play a game that I enjoy, even if it doesn't get a lot of views. Stellaris is any Paradox game, but Stellaris is probably in its own category in a lot of ways. It's just one of those games that it's massive, right? All Paradox games are massive. That's the reason they're called Grand Strategy. I would say Stellaris might be one of the more approachable ones, at least on the face, like on a basic level, because I think they did a good job of kind of easing you into it a little bit. At least the first time I played it, like years ago, it felt more approachable. But I guess any Paradox game, you can make it extremely complicated if you need to, if you want to, if that fits your vibe. But you can also just play them all at very basic levels, right? Like you could play Crusader Kings 3 and just have fun with the RP elements and not even really care about much with the war and any of that kind of stuff. You could just have fun with the game. And I think that's the same with all Paradox games. The whole point of Paradox games, any of them, is Write your own story. There's no real win or loss. I mean, there is a way to lose. You just get taken over and destroyed. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no... It's your story. It's not... There's no, like... It's not the same victory condition as, like, a Civilization 6 game where I won a space victory. You get to the end of a Paradox game and you're like... You know, you might not be in first place on the prestige list. But that might be okay. If you're like... I'm third, but I started with, you know... podunk little country in the middle of nowhere. That's impressive. So I think Paradox games are awesome for stories. They're really good for that. Do I like NBA or NFL? I don't watch a lot of NBA or NFL anymore. I have in my past watched a significant amount of NBA and NFL. But I'll be honest, I stopped watching sports when sports became more about politics than sports. And I'll just leave it at that. Oh, no, for sure. The DLCs for... That's the thing about Paradox. They are so heavy on DLCs. In fact, when I played EU4 recently, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad they have a subscription model for this. So I just paid like $5 a month for a couple months to get all the DLCs unlocked. Because buying them all is like a couple $100 or some ridiculous number. There's so many DLCs. I'm being lazy. I'm letting my worker do my seeding because I'm sitting there talking to you guys. I hope you don't mind. Sports game. I mean, I do obviously Football Manager, but so I do management sports games. I haven't ever really done a I'm playing a sports game. Don't get me wrong. Like in my personal past history, I've played a decent chunk of Madden, for example. I also used to love playing the NCAA football when they had that out. That was a lot of fun. I've never played an actual basketball sports game since the original NBA Jam from like 1990 something. Who knows when that was out. I have not played anything since then. People have asked about FIFA. I've never played the FIFA games or anything of that nature. I need another tractor so I can go do something else while this guy's sitting here doing his thing. All right, fine, little worker. I'll take over. You're doing fine, but technically a little slower than I think. Especially since I don't have the building. I still don't know why they have a building that speeds up your workers. Why? What's the point? I don't know if I will ever do a Madden series. Like I'm good enough at Madden to probably beat the computer like all day every day, but I am not good enough at Madden to look good compared to all those people that play multiplayer Madden with each other and things like that. Like I just won't be that good. Let's put it that way. The way I'm good at Madden is I could probably, you know, recruit a good team onto my squad and have a good strategy for how I want to, you know, play out the plays defensively and offensively, stuff like that. I'm probably not very good at actually playing the characters themselves, like being the quarterback, being the running back, all that kind of stuff. So from that perspective, I play it almost like a management game than an actually I'm playing the game type of thing. Your tractor ended up in the river? Yes. I have ended up in a fair number of rivers myself, as you guys know. I mean, I have Madden for free right now because I have the Xbox Game Pass. So I probably should give Madden another chance to see what, you know, kind of how it looks. I haven't played it in forever. Truth be told, I haven't watched the NFL in so long. I don't even know who plays in the NFL anymore. I probably last watched the NFL very heavily back when Peyton Manning was still in the NFL. I do like racing games. You might, I don't know if it'll happen like anytime soon, but there's a slim chance I might put like the actual F1 where I'm driving game on there at some point, because I'm usually pretty decent at driving games. Now, again, decent is a strong word, because I know that there are people on YouTube that do racing games as a profession, basically, and I'm not that good. I'm not like sitting in a cockpit with like screens all around me with, you know, realistic, you know, steering wheels and all that kind of stuff like that. So when I say good, I'm like, I can win, but I'm not like crazy. Like, I mean, I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I actually have a lot of respect for guys that are very good at that kind of stuff. Good on them. But I enjoy it. Yep. I like the F1 game. It's pretty cool. Yes. When I picked up F1 2022, 2021, so one of those two. It's been about 2 years, I think, since I last played the F1 game. But I picked it up a couple years ago, and I think I put in a couple hundred hours within the first few weeks. Like I think I had it a month, and I'd already had like 120, 200 hours. I don't know, some ridiculous number. And my thumbs were so sore because I used the controller. And this is before I had the steering wheel. And so my thumbs were so sore. I was playing that game like crazy. It was fun though. Space Engineer. I have not tried Space Engineer, although I do personally enjoy, I know it's not the same, but I do enjoy Kerbal Space Program. That's a lot of fun. And I would like to play Kerbal Space Program 2 once that gets all sorted out here. I think it's still technically in early access right now. But I do like Kerbal Space Program. I know I guess it's not quite the same as what you're talking about with Space Engineer, but kind of in that vein of space exploration. Yeah, F1's a good game. It's well made, I think. And look, I do like, I mean, I used to play Need for Speed Underground and all the Need for Speed games way back in the day. But the cool thing about the F1 stuff is that it's like, you know, more realistic. Like Need for Speed games are kind of like Grand Theft Auto without all of the the criminal behavior. Well, I say that. No, actually, Need for Speed games do have criminal behavior. Just different type of criminal behavior. It's more racing criminal behavior than drug criminal behavior. But whereas F1 and games like that are like real racing, like you're racing around tracks and stuff, which is cool. Yeah, I should really get into Kerbal Space Program too, even if it's in early access. I hear it's still pretty good, early access or not. Which I might give it a shot one of these days soon. Here's a game. Here's a game that I actually enjoy playing that I don't know if I will play very well on the channel, so I don't know if I'll ever feature it. I play games like I think Silent Service. They don't make them very many these days. Like the old submarine games, where like World War II submarine games like that. I like playing those games where I have to do the math on the torpedoes myself. I literally sit down there with a piece of paper and I plot out my courses and I plot out all the math and I figure out exactly where to shoot a torpedo. And to me, that's a lot of fun. And the reason I brought that up, because obviously you kind of do the same type of thing with Kerbal Space Program, where you're like, you have to do the math on how the planets are going to move and where you got to go. And like, there's different things you could do in that game that remind me of the torpedo launching in Secret Service. I like math. You guys know that. I got to stop doing it publicly because I make mistakes. Doesn't mean I still don't enjoy it. Oh my, you've got a lot of hours. That's insane. I mean, that's good. That's awesome. I don't mean that in a bad way. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like racing games a lot, actually. I kind of miss those. You're probably more inclined, like I said, you'll be more inclined to see me play a racing game than like Madden, just because I think I am reasonably good at those, whereas Madden, I'm only passable, I would say. Not that I have to be good at every game that I put on the channel, but I'd like to at least look semi-competent most of the time. Do I like NASCAR? I would say mostly no. Not that I have anything wrong with NASCAR at all. I don't have anything against it, not whatsoever. I mean, I did technically grow up in what would be considered the South, so you would think that I would like NASCAR. My family, like my aunt loves NASCAR, and I think my grandfather used to watch NASCAR, stuff like that too, but I just never really got into NASCAR myself. Nothing wrong with it, just not my thing, I guess. I think the reason why F1 seems more appealing to me, or at least on some level, is because obviously the track's a little bit more dynamic, right? There's a lot more curvy and back, NASCAR is exactly what NASCAR is. It's just you're driving around mostly in a circle. Now, there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into NASCAR that it's more than just driving in a circle. I know people say driving in a circle as a joke. It's more to it than that, for sure. But from a driving standpoint, for me driving, I would rather play like an F1 game. But I haven't tried the NASCAR games. They might be good. I used to love, I loved the Gran Turismo games. Those games were awesome. Love those games. What was it? Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec or whatever it was? Man, I had so many hours in that game. I don't know. I can't even count how many hours I had in that game. How do you get mods in Farming Simulator? Well, I don't know if you're playing on the PC or the Xbox or PlayStation. I'm assuming it's similar, but I don't actually play on either of those. I do play on the PC, obviously. There should be a mod hub menu option in the start menu that should have the option to download mods. Now, again, if you're on the PC version, there is the opportunity to download mods externally from the game. I personally, I don't know if I could personally recommend that, even though I have personally gotten mods from other websites. I would say that as a to be as a YouTuber, I should say I should not recommend getting it from a different website than the actual in-game one, because not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I wouldn't recommend it because, who knows what kind of shadiness there might be on some of those websites, quite frankly. Just FYI. Anytime you're downloading anything that mods a game, it's almost always better to do that from within the game. Apparently my button go through. That's true. There is NASCAR modes in some of the other games that are really good racing games, for sure. Why am I... Did I... I'm too distracted by chat. I am obviously not turning on all the buttons. Turn on this heater. Lower this heater. Now let's go. That's why I have my worker do this sometimes, because I get distracted. I like hunting games. I play Call of the Hunter, Call of the Wild, Hunter Call of the Wild. I think that's what it's called. I play that a lot. I know they just came out with a fishing game. I play that sometimes too. It's a fun game. I don't know if either of those is super, like, there are people that do those on YouTube, but I don't know if they quite fit what I want to do on YouTube. The thing with like trying to put a YouTube game, hunting game on YouTube, is I feel like you have to do a lot more editing, because there's a lot of nothing. Oh, I found something. Nothing. Oh, I found something. And so you kind of have to just go pick and choose those times that you actually found something and edit all those together, which, if that's your only game that you have on your channel, cool. I don't. So that's the reason I don't play those types of games usually. Oh, nice. Yeah, five euros. It's not bad. It's probably a pretty good price. I think it's fun. I mean, it is one of those games that I play with a friend of mine. So it's a lot more fun, I think, to play with other people sometimes because you can kind of be out there just talking about whatever, and then, hey, look, cool, there's a trophy deer. Let's go shoot that. You know. I will say the other reason I probably don't put games like that on my YouTube channel is, you know, there's people that are not happy with violence to animals, even if it is in a video game, and so I try to be a little careful around stuff like that. I personally have no issues against hunters in real life. I think they serve a purpose as long as they're doing it within the context of the law. Industrial scale. Bacon production. That's, yeah, I mean, because, you know, we don't actually shoot the pigs. They just disappear one day. They, oh, what was it? Oh, was it Babe? That's such an old movie. Man, I am dating myself big time. Something about where they, like, the animals just used to go somewhere and they just wouldn't come back and, like, nobody ever knew where they went. I forget which movie it was, but it's that kind of thing. They get on a truck, they go for a trip, and they just don't come home. I have not done anything like Among Us or anything like that. I've never actually, I have not up to now done any multiplayer games on the channel with the community or anything like that. I'm not saying that I will never do that, but truth be told, when I only have comments on YouTube, it's a good community, but it's not much of a community from a multiplayer standpoint. As the live streaming community grows more and more, I could definitely see a place where there is more, there might be some more multiplayer games in the future because there's actually a reason. Because obviously people here doing the live stream, we could do some sort of multiplayer aspect of that, which I think would be fine. Yeah, multiplayer farming is... No, for sure. Multiplayer farming is, in my opinion, the way to play Farming Simulator. It is so much fun to play multiplayer farming. You get so much stuff done, and it is a good way to play the game. Very, very good way. All right, well, our sorghum is ready to rock and roll. I'm happy. You'll need to fertilize here soon-ish, but we'll take care of that next month. Has it already been an hour of the stream? Goodness gracious. Time has flown. I did not expect that one field just to take that long. That's what I get for having such a small cedar. All right, we need to mow the rest of these. Another game that I really like a lot, but I haven't really done as much as I want to. Like, I keep starting series and then struggling to finish them, so I really need to find a way to finish it. I like Factorio a lot. That's a really fun game. To be fair, there's a lot of really good games out there. There are a lot of really good games out there. Just don't have time to play them all. Never in my wildest dreams did I think Farming Simulator would be the #1 game on my channel. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It caught me by surprise. Not that it's a bad game by any stretch. I mean, there's enough story and stuff kind of baked in. I think it can be definitely be fun, but it's just, I just didn't expect it to be the most popular. I figured Civilization or something like that would be. But if you go look at channels out there that have Farming Simulator content, there's a lot of big Farming Simulator content channels out there for sure. Hey Mason, how's it going? I'm doing great. How are you? That's true, Stormy. It's a very relaxing game on one hand, and then also has the opportunity to kind of be something that you can min max and do some bit more management and stuff like that, which I think you're right about. What is my favorite farming simulator? Like, you mean between like 15, 17, 19, and now obviously 22? If that's what you mean, then I would say this is my favorite, because I like the fact that they added the production facilities, because I think that fits a niche of mine where I just enjoy, like, if all I did was grow the crops and then sell the crops, grow the crops, sell the crops, to me that cycle gets boring. But the idea of growing this, and this, and then I could put that together to sell for this, and kind of that whole process, I think is a lot of fun. In fact, I wish there was more of it. I wish there was a lot more production facility stuff added to the game, to be fair. I played a lot of FS19 though. I did play a lot of Farming Simulator 19. In fact, that's my second most popular series on my channel, is I think my FS19 run. But and obviously FS22 doesn't add a lot, you know, in one sense. I mean, they're very similar games, but again, like I said, I think the production facilities was just a massive win for my own personal enjoyment. I wish one of the DLCs they were releasing, one of the expansions, was just more production facility type stuff. I mean, I know there technically was a couple things they added in with the Zelanka. Like, they added in potato chips and all the soups and stuff like that. So I'm very happy with that. But I want more. Like, I feel like there's just, like, give me more. Like, I love this. I love that kind of stuff. More combinations of things. I love the idea that for, like, clothes, you can, like, you know, you can go get the cotton, and then it turns into cloth, and then you turn into clothes and things like that. I like the idea of more layers and just more complex production type stuff. I think that's kind of fun. How did I miss a spot? Come back here. All right, Yannick. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I appreciate that, Yannick. I really do. And thanks for becoming a member and supporting the channel. And like I said, I will definitely be featuring one of your games soon. So thank you very much. Do I know if they're going to add the helper administration to PS5? I'm not sure. So again, since I don't play PS5, I don't know what you're referring to that might be missing. But do you not have... You have workers on PS5, don't you? You're not talking about just the generic workers, right? First Farming Simulator game I played was probably 17, actually. I kind of got into the series pretty late. I might have played 15. I can't remember if I played 15 or not, actually. I think it was 17. If I played 15, it was literally like a month before 17 came out, maybe. And so I might have played it for like a few minutes, like maybe an hour or something like that. And then knowing that 17 was going to come out, and then I just switched over to 17 the moment it came out. Something like that. Oh, horseplay and stuff. Oh, yeah. I don't know if those when or if those will come to PlayStation or Xbox, because those are. Yeah, I don't know. Truth be told, and I've said it a couple times, I think there's certain mods like that should just be base game, because why not? If you can choose not to use them, or you can choose to use them, there's no reason not to let them exist. Things of that nature. But same thing with autoload. I think autoload should exist base game, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know when those types of things will come to PlayStation. It's a really good question. All right, everything's mowed. I think we're going to wait one more cycle before we bail. So we'll just let these continue to grow. Yeah, I would agree that the restrictions from the platform itself about how much stuff you... Because obviously mods do take up a lot of memory to load into the game a lot of times. Things of that nature. I mean, I have a lot of mods loaded right now. How much memory am I using? Let's see. I'm using less than I expected. I'm only using a gig of RAM. I actually expected to be using more than that. But there might be I bet a lot of the mods are loaded into the swappable hard drive space, as opposed to like as opposed to just actual RAM, maybe. So there might be some of that list, or kind of, that affects things as well. I'd have to look at it. I'd have to do some research to know for sure. All right, I think we're good. How's our strawberries? Strawberries are okay. So they're good for at least another month or so. So we'll let them run. Next month we will fertilize everything. Probably need to do some herbiciding very soon. I don't think there's anything else we need to do, right? We'll let the grass grow again, and we got to be able to ready to harvest the sorghum here in 4 months. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess most games that you're going to put on a console just don't need mods, right? You're not going to have, you know, Madden's not going to have a mod, or, you know, Call of Duty's not going to typically, at least not on console. Like, you're not going to have mods for a lot of your normal console type games. Super Mario Brothers, you're not going to have mods for Super Mario Brothers, like for Nintendo, things like that. So I think the idea of making things more mod friendly on console is probably not a very good use of the console developers' time. I would like to see consoles kind of go the way, to some degree, the way of the Steam Deck, right? Where the Steam Deck, you could very easily, you know, add mods to the Steam Deck, I'm assuming, because it's just running an operating system, just like, I mean, you can actually run, I think you can run actual Windows on Steam Deck. I think I've seen people do that. I don't want to speak out of turn, but things like that. Like, I feel like adding a way for you to like just be more of a normal operating system that you could add stuff like that if you so choose would be awesome to see. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the world of consoles. I don't play a lot of consoles. I don't have one here, but I have, my kids play Xbox all the time. So I do have consoles. I just don't personally play on them very much. I used to, though. I used to play a lot of console stuff. All right, what was I going to... Oh, yeah, I was going to fertilize. But if you're a console developer, like, you want every game that somebody loads up on your console to work basically every time, right? Like, that's the whole point of a console, is to be super user-friendly. You never have to worry about not having the right specs. Any game that's been approved to be on the console will run on the hardware of the console, in theory. I'm sure there's been exceptions that are problematic, but for the most part, right? You've approved to be running on Xbox, well, then your game can run on Xbox. But once you start adding mods and stuff like that to it, well, then the game breaks. You blame the Xbox, and the Xbox is like, Microsoft's like, it's not our fault. You did something different to the game, you know? So it's not necessarily in their best interest to allow mods, unfortunately, from the console side, like I said. Unless the game has mod support, you know, enabled within the game world itself. Which I think, like I said, Farm Simulator does have some of that available. But I'm sure Farming Simulator has a restriction, right? I could be wrong. I honestly have no idea how it works. But it would not surprise me if Farming Simulator has a restriction on what kind of mods they're allowed to support on Xbox. Like, it has to be less than this amount of memory or something like that to be able to be on the Xbox or PlayStation mod list. Something of that nature would be logical. That's true as well. That's true. Opening up the platform does lose exclusivity. You are very correct. Exclusivity is... I mean, I've heard this told before, and I did actually used to work for a video game store, like a GameStop here in the United States. I didn't work for GameStop, but it was one like that. And, you know, console developers, at least in the early days, they tend to lose money on a console. They actually don't, they either break even or they actually lose money on a console. The way they make their money is from the games and all the add-ons and the controllers and everything like that. They mark up the games and they mark up the controllers a lot because that's how they make their money. It's similar to, if you ever go to a movie theater, I've also worked at a movie theater for a very large part of my life. Movie theaters make basically no money off the movie theater tickets. The tickets themselves are, you know, if you ever go to a movie theater, if you ever wonder why popcorn and drinks at a movie theater is so expensive, because that's how a movie theater makes their money. They make nothing off of the ticket sales. They have to pay so much to the studios to actually have permission to even have a movie in their, you know, in their theater. They don't make any money off of it. Very few movies does a movie theater ever make money off of. You actually have to have a movie in your theater for a pretty long period of time before you ever start making money off of it. So just FYI. Don't complain about paying too much for popcorn. I mean, you can still complain, but at least now you know there's a reason. I've also worked for Chick-fil-A, for example. Fast food, right? And interesting kind of concept like that for Chick-fil-A is that Chick-fil-A, if you ever buy a kids meal from Chick-fil-A, or probably any company, McDonald's, anything like that, if you buy the kids meal is actually almost zero profit. But the reason why the kids meal is good is because kids beg their parents to go to McDonald's to buy them a kids meal. They make very little money off of it, but then they turn around and make money off of the parents' food that then comes by and buys it. You know what I mean? So the way different companies make money in different ways is actually kind of funny to me. I actually kind of like the idea of like looking some of that stuff up and figuring out how some of that works in ways that you don't expect. I'm in the wrong spots. There we go. We'll just do that. I've worked in a lot of places back in the day. I mean, I have been at my current job for over a decade, so there's that. But leading up to that, I worked a lot of different jobs. Worked for a hospital once, randomly. They needed somebody to come in and fix all of their documents, which now would be ridiculous because all their documents are going to be in a computer. But this was back when they had files everywhere. And so I spent a few weeks. I think I spent probably a month there. Just kind of a contract job of just reorganizing and resituating and redoing all of their file paperwork, stuff like that. I've had some weird odd jobs. I should have done that differently so that I could get that little edge there better. I don't know why I'm so particular about getting all the fertilizing done. It's not like it matters. It would have been fine if I hadn't come all the way over here. My dad has had a lot of odd jobs. I mean, my dad, like, all my life, my dad's main job is that he's a pastor. He's a minister. So, if you ever want to know why I'm prone to having more family-friendly content on my channel, it's because, you know, I was raised in a conservative home, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I'm not, you know, whatever. Anyway, so my dad, he's been a minister all my life, but ministers don't get paid a lot. So he's always had to have a second job on the side, and he has done some of the most crazy, insane jobs. He actually had to get his private investigator's license one time, which is an interesting test to go through to become a... So he was a private investigator, but he wasn't a private investigator so he could be a private investigator. He was a private investigator because he sold security systems. And so in order to sell security systems, you have to get well, at least at the time, you had to get a private investigator's license, which is so weird. He's been a car salesman. He hated that job because obviously as a pastor or a minister, having to lie to people to get them to buy a car was not something that sat well with him. So not that all car salespeople are liars, but you know, you guys know how it works. I mean, it is what it is. His longest running job is that he has done school photography. So if you ever go to school and get your picture taken for a yearbook, that's the job that's what he did. He would go in and he would take all the pictures for yearbooks and things like that. He's done that for an extremely long time now. He actually likes that job a lot. It's funny. It's just cool to, I don't know, the world, different jobs, different things, different places. I think it's good to have experience. Life experience is a good thing, right? Well, I say a good thing. Not always. Obviously, there's always bad life experiences, but even bad life experiences hopefully can teach you something. Yeah, probably my favorite job was the movie theater, because a part of my job was that I got to run this is back before digital, right? Back when we actually had movies on film, which wasn't that long ago. I'm not that old, but it is, you know, now almost exclusively digital. But back when movies were on film, I loved doing all the film stuff, putting the film reels together and working with the projection equipment, stuff like that. That was always fun for me. Loved that job. If I could find a movie theater around here that still ran film, I would probably do that on the weekends or something like that. I would love to just have that job just for fun. It would be a very, very fun job for me. I think just about everything's digital now. The other cool thing about working in a movie theater is that, especially when you're doing the film side of things, is that you've got to make sure that the film's put together correct, you know, before you show it to your audience. So I got to watch a lot of movies before they came out in a movie theater all by myself. It was the life. Where else have I worked? I was technically in the United States Army for 5 minutes. I would never consider myself a veteran, though. Ever. Anytime they ask, veterans to stand up at some, at the kids' school or something like that, I never stood up. I was only in the Army for about a month. I said 5 minutes, but it was a month. But, so I don't think it counts. There's too many good people who have served their countries for me to ever claim that I have, even if I technically had a paycheck from the Army at one point in time. I got a medical discharge. So if you have served in the military, I have a lot of respect for you, obviously. But, like I said, I would never compare myself to you. No, I went backwards too far. I was like, why won't the work? Go, worker. Come on. You can do it. We're close to the line. There you go. I know some countries actually have required military service, don't they? Oh, we're empty. I was like, why did it just stop? Which is interesting. I can't imagine being in a required military service country. All right, what is that? That's herbicide. That's herbicide. Oh, we don't have any. We'll have to go get some more. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I never knew that. Everything's publicly run, paid by the state. That's, I mean, getting paid by the government, state, not federal, whatever. At least here in the United States, I wish I was getting paid by the government for my job, because if I was, I could get my student loans forgiven after a period of time. But unfortunately, no. Now, what I should have done is, for the job that I went into the Army for, I did have to get top secret security clearance for. And I wish I had been smart when I got out of the Army, even if I was only in for a short period of time. I still had to get the security clearance, right? Like just because I'm in for X amount of time does not mean my security clearance is somehow not valid. Like, that's not how that works. And so I wish I had used that security clearance to then get a contract, like a job for like a defense contractor, because they pay a lot of good money. That would have been a smart thing to do as a computer programmer. But no, when I was 19, 20 years old, I was not smart. So I did not do that. And of course, once you let your security clearance lapse, at least here in the United States, it's basically gone, and it's so hard to get that back. You have to get like a sponsor, I think, to get your security clearance back. I could go try to apply for a job at a defense contractor, but they're all going to say you either need to have security clearance to begin with, or like they would have to be the ones to sponsor you, and they're just not going to. What? One semester of university costs 250 to 350 euros. What? Is that that's not a typo, right? Oh my. I mean, I might have been able to go to a 30-minute session for 250 bucks here in the United States, if even. But no, there's no. My brain is not processing what you just said correctly at all. Like, I believe it's true because I think I've heard that before, but my brain is not, compared to where we're at in the United States, my brain does not process the number you just said. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Oh, the United States. There is a lot of great things in the United States, but our education system, yeah, it's a scam. It really is. That's why I will never tell my kids that they need to go to college. If they want to get a job that requires it, fine. I will do everything in my power to support them, but I would never encourage them to go to college. It is, man, oof. It is so expensive. Plus, not okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about college, and I'll say it, and I'll get off my soapbox here in a moment. College, especially if you're someone who has to do it by themselves. My parents, like I said, my mom was a school teacher, my dad is a pastor. I've already established that. Neither one of them made a lot of money. So if for me to go through college, which I did, I went to college, I got my degree. I had to pay for it myself. Now, paying for it myself, I am 18, 19, 20 years of age, right? I'm still young and dumb and don't know anything. And so, sure, I'll sign on the dotted line for this student loan that, you know, in theory, I should be able to pay off in no time once I get my job after I graduate. And so the idea that they allow children, effectively, I mean, I think I technically had to get my parents' approval, but of course my parents wanted me to go to college. But anyway, the fact that they let children, you know, sign on the dotted line for a loan that in many cases will plague them for the rest of their lives is just cruel. It really is. It's a scam, unfortunately. Especially when I consider the fact that 99% of what I use on my job, I learned on my job. I probably used 1% of the knowledge that I got out of college. It's unfortunate. I hate it. I mean, I don't want to speak bad because I think you are at a university, and I'm hoping that the things that you're teaching, especially at that value. If it was 250 bucks a semester, I would not be bad-mouthing college at all. 100% worth it to go to college, even if I don't use everything I learn for 250 bucks a semester, in my opinion. That is well worth it. I'm not saying the education is not valuable in some sense, but the value is drastically reduced when you consider it. For the United States, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes. See, now, here's the thing. And here's where I should have been smarter, is I should have gone to community college for a few semesters. Again, 19 years old, young and dumb. So I can look back on what I did and realize I made mistakes. I just realized I have to go herbicide. I know the things that I would change in my life if I had a chance to do that. And one of them would be to go to community college for a couple years, because community college, based on where I lived at the time, would have been either about that price that you just stated or free, actually, for me, because I was from a low-income family. So community college would have been potentially free. I could have gone there for a couple years. Still ultimately needed to get a 4-year degree in order to kind of get some of the jobs that I wanted. But that would have cut my cost for my degree in half, right? At least. And so I definitely should have done that. And if my kids want to do that, I will definitely help them any way I can to go to community college to get some sort of education. I'm not saying anything wrong with education. I actually love education. I enjoyed college from the education side of things a lot. But, and again, at the time, I'm thinking, oh, what's $20,000? What's $40,000? What's $100,000? It's nothing. I'll make that back in my first year when I get out and get a good job. But it doesn't all quite work out that way. Here's the real kicker. You don't understand. Like, I didn't understand interest rates when I was in college. I really did, which I should have. I was almost a math major. I got a math minor, but I was a couple credits short of getting a double major, right? And so you think me knowing math, I would have been better at financial stuff, but I wasn't. I just wasn't. And so, oh, I don't have the thingy. I'm actually gonna go buy that. But what I didn't understand at the time is that paying your minimum payment on your student loans typically means that you don't ever pay off your student loans. I think I owe the same amount today that I did a decade ago when I was, you know, or however long ago. I mean, it's not entirely true. I have paid off some student loans, but it's not much, right? Like, the amount that I've paid off on my student loans is so small compared to what, you know, what's out there. It's just, it's sad. It's really sad. And again, it's all my fault. I took out the loans. I took out the loans at those interest rates. I didn't understand what I was doing. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't. That sounds like a lot of fun. University of Applied Sciences. That would be my kind of college. I would love that. That would be really, really fun. Someday I'll be free of my student loan debt. Someday. I don't know when. Someday. I was going to come in here and add the work. Oh, it's 39,000 bucks. But I wants it. I'm going to channel my inner golem. But I wants it. My precious. What is it? Oh, that's not golem. Who is it that says I wants it? I don't remember. I'm probably confusing different things. The funny thing about the weed spot spraying is that it doesn't change the cost once I add like more width to this. So I can add more width to it and still the same price. I probably should not do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want it. Oh, I didn't realize we were still attached. I'm reading your chat. Again, I'm going back to the idea that as a child, again, I would consider a 19, 20, 21-year-old barely an adult, right? Like, you're practically still a child, in my opinion, at least in the way the world works. Here's a couple things. Our education system, at least in America, does not teach you anything about practical knowledge. We learn about literature, we learn about history, we learn about, you know, basic mathematics, geometry, calculus, things like that. Do I learn anything about how to balance a checkbook? Do I learn anything about how credit cards work? Do I learn anything about how anything that's practical, especially financial? No, none of that is ever taught in our high schools or anything like that in our education system in the United States. So when I come out of high school and then I decide to go to college and somebody says, yeah, you can go to college, and here all you have to do is sign on this dotted line. Don't worry about how much it's going to cost you. You'll pay for that, you know, once you graduate. You know, that's tomorrow's problem. That's 5 years from now's problem. Nope, don't worry about it. Then you definitely get to a point where you make choices based off of information that you're given. So I would agree with you. Arguably, it's not my fault. It's just based off the system that we have. But at the same time, you know, I had the capacity to learn more. I definitely could have learned more about how it all worked to make the better decision. But I didn't, truth be told, I didn't know I had to. I did not know I needed to learn about how interest rates and stuff like that worked because I believed what they said when they said, "Oh, just sign on this dotted line. You'll get to pay. You'll be able to pay that off, with your first job or something like that." It's not true. Yeah, could I have paid off my student loans with my first job? Sure, if I lived in a cardboard box and ate ramen all the time, I definitely could have paid off all my student loans. But that's just not realistic. I mean, some people do it. Some people do live very, very meager lives for a couple years, get all their student loans paid off, and I applaud them. Good on them. It's a little too late for me to do that now. I can't very well live a meager lifestyle with 4 kids. They would suffer. So at this point, I just deal. I live with it. I realize I'm getting too far off. I'm farming, okay, guys? I'm going to talk about random stuff while I run in a sprayer across the farm. So I hope you guys don't mind. I think that's mostly why you guys are here, to hear talk about random, strange, crazy things. I actually liked my education a lot. I really did. I enjoyed it so much. I hate that I have a sour taste in my mouth about it, because I actually really, really enjoyed college. Because I like learning. I love learning stuff. It is very fun for me. Are you not spraying? There we go. Yeah, exactly, Ben. All my teachers ever told me, and all that you're taught, especially years ago, was that in order for you to amount to anything, you had to have a college degree, right? That's drilled into our heads for some reason. And it's just not true. Here's how I know it's not true. I remember the day that I walked into my job after we got a brand new hire at my current job, right? My computer programming job. We had a brand new guy that walked in, not walked in, but you know what I mean? He went through the process, got hired, got through the interview, everything. He was doing the exact same job I was doing, getting paid the exact same amount I was getting paid. And he learned everything he learned from one of those programming boot camps. He never went to college, ever. He went to a programming boot camp, paid, I think, $5,000-$10,000, something like that. And that was it. He had enough education to get the same job I had after a 44-year degree and many tens of thousands, actually probably more than that. Probably closer to $100,000 degree that I had for the same job. That's what gets you. That's what gets you. But anyway. Oh, Stormy. If you were not... It's only funny because it's sad and true. It is so true. Oh my goodness, so you're not wrong. Oh my goodness. I remember, like I said, I worked at Chick-fil-A for a while, right? Chick-fil-A, which if you don't know is fast food, right? Whatever. I don't know if they have Chick-fil-A's in... They're over around the world, but I don't remember where all they're at. Anyway, Chick-fil-A. I remember the day that I walked in and I had a discussion with one of the other managers from one of the other stores. And I come to find out he's got a PhD. The guy's got a PhD and he's working as a manager at a Chick-fil-A. I mean, it happens. You're not wrong. I've heard welding, if you're good at it, you can make a lot of money from that as well. I've heard that, like anything trade like that, if you're good at a particular trade, car mechanic, or like you said, welding or anything like that, if you are literally truly a master at what you do, you can make some really good money. Especially now that we're having less and less people going into trade schools and stuff like that. We're discouraged from going into the trade world a lot of times for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. I would like to go back and get my master's degree. I don't know why. Again, it kind of just goes back to the idea that I like education, but I never will. There's no value for me to go back and get my master's degree. My company's not going to pay me more just because I have a master's degree. Not at this point. Now, it might help me get a different job, I suppose. There's always that possibility, but unlikely. Truth be told, though, I don't even know what I would get my master's degree in at this point. I mean, it'd have to be some sort of computer science or mathematics. But if I do use this, oh, it's hilarious. I love that. It's great. I mean, I laugh only because I have looked at several of those game companies. Civilization, I looked at Firaxis to see if they were hiring. And they are, just not remotely. And I'm not going to move to Maryland. I've looked at Giants. Are they hiring? Yes, but not remotely. And I'm not going to move to Sweden? No, where is Giants? Is Giants Sweden? I don't remember. I've looked at several of those. I've looked at a lot of game companies because, you know, curious. I technically went to school for game design and I never done anything with it. So, you know, there you go. I love the fact that I get to work remotely. So there is a good chance that I will never go to another company, even if my company doesn't pay that much compared to other companies, which they don't. I'll be honest. My company does not pay much compared to the market at the end of the day, which is why part of the reason why I don't say where I work, because I don't want to badmouth them in that context. But I get to work from home. So there's a lot of value that I place on the ability to work remotely. Oh, Switzerland. Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And Germany, of course, Czech Republic. But I think, is it based in Switzerland primarily? I think so. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I would, truth be told, if I didn't have... please take this the right way. I love my kids. I love my family. Absolutely do. Love them to death. Okay, that sounded bad. But you know what I mean. Love my family. But if I was single, I would absolutely love to move to Switzerland or Germany and work for a company like Giants. I would have zero problem moving to Europe and working someplace like that. But that's just not reality for me. Obviously, being married with kids and stuff like that. It would be fun though. I would enjoy that experience. That's true, Ben. Unfortunately, people do exist. And unfortunately, we do have to deal with them sometimes. It's part of the reason why I do not work in a service industry anymore. For whatever reason, human beings think that if you work in a service industry, you are the scum of the earth and they can talk to you and treat you however poorly that they want. And that is something that is just, it's hard. And so I love the fact that I work at a computer and I manage my own, you know, whatever. I kind of do my own thing, basically. I don't have to deal with people that much. If I love them so much, how often do I clean the basement? That's a strange question. I don't understand what you mean. Herbiciding's done, fertilizing's done, mowing's for one round is done, grass is growing, or everything's growing, and we check the water again. Everything looks good for at least another month. Oh, how? Okay, I got you. I mean, yeah. I was going to say something, but it's going to get me into trouble. I'm actually in my basement, by the way. I didn't know. I don't remember how much I've revealed. I'm like, What do you mean clean the basement? How do you know I'm in the basement? Have I said that I'm in the basement? Yes, I am in my basement right now. My basement is a furnished basement, which is awesome. It means that when you look at my house from the outside, it looks small. But then when you get into my house, you realize that most of the house is below ground, which is pretty awesome. I have a movie theater in my basement, for example. I don't know if I've mentioned that. So my basement's big enough that I have like a full projection, movie theater seats, you know, the whole thing. And I mean, it's only got like 8 seats, I think, but it's like full, nice, reclining movie theater seats that works. So I have that. But like I said, my office is in my basement. Like, it's one of the rooms in my basement. So I do live in my basement, which is why I'm like, what do you mean clean my basement? Have you been talking to my wife? Stormy, do you know my wife? What's going on here? How do you know I haven't been cleaning my basement? Okay. No, my kids do live in the basement, but that's just because that's where most of my house is in the basement. Oh, I was like, my wife just told me today to clean the basement. How do you know this, Stormy? What are you talking about? Who are you? Come to find out, it's been my wife the whole... I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, Reese, how's it going? Yeah, this is a fun game. I like this. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully you are enjoying it as well. Speaking of being in the basement, for whatever reason, even though hot air is supposed to go up, right? Hot air rises, cool air settles. You would think that being in the basement, I would be cooler than upstairs, but I am not. Probably because I have 2 very powerful computers, my door is shut, and the heater vent is right above my head. But it is always so hot in my office when I'm streaming, so give me a second to turn down the temperature upstairs because it is getting hot in here. Oh my. Who? My kids must be messing with the heater. It is on a temperature that is blasphemous. No, I didn't mean anything by that, by the way. I just was like, it freaked me out for a moment. I'm like, how do you know I need to clean my basement? No, I'm just kidding. My basement's relatively clean. My basement is as clean as you're going to get with 4 kids living in the basement. Again, furnished basement, guys. My kids are not living in a... it's all good. I joke about my kids. I do not treat my kids poorly, I promise. If you saw the plethora of Christmas presents they just opened up, you would realize that I spoil my kids. But I like to tell jokes. Where are we? What are we doing? We are waiting for 1 more month, I think, right? For the mowing? Yeah, 1 more month for the mowing. And then we got 1 more month on the harvest of the sorghum. 2 more months on sorghum. Cool. All right. Looks good to me. I mean, it's as clean as it can be with, like I said, kids that play with toys and make messes all the time. I'll be honest, I'm the kind of person who I would rather let my kids live than worry about having a spotless house all the time. Like I don't want to be like nasty. Like I'm not saying that like there's garbage laying around or anything like that. But I don't care if they have toys laying around because they're kids. Let them live, you know? So I don't tend to... I actually don't even make my kids clean their rooms very often. My only rule about their rooms is if I cannot walk through it to come wake you up for school in the morning, then we got a problem. But other than that, I don't care how messy it is because it's whatever. It's let them live. They're kids. I had a messy room growing up. I think I turned out just fine. Oh, I appreciate that, Ben. Hope you're enjoying the series, and I'm glad you were able to join live. Again, if you are not able to join live in the future or missed any of it, all of the live streams are on the VODs are on the YouTube channel immediately following the live stream, so you can definitely catch up with all the live stream stuff as well at any point. I got to start. Been 2 hours of the live stream. Time is flying past. What's today? Wednesday? Although I guess for some of you it's Thursday. All right, that's good. I still got lots of time left on my holiday. I don't go back until January 8th? 8th, I think. Oh, yeah, that's cool, Ben. I'm glad that my videos inspired you, but yeah. Starting from scratch for me, the only reason I start from scratch is that, like, in some ways I'd almost rather start with a lot of stuff, because I think it's actually it's fun, you know, right, to have some stuff, but I don't know, for some reason, probably what I would do is I would start with a bunch of stuff, like start with everything, and then just set the economy to hard mode or something like that. That might be a good compromise of the two. Yeah, I think that's fair, Stormy. I think if you just want to have fun, the normal mode or the other modes are just to have fun. The start from scratch mode with the harder economy is a bit more about strategy and stuff. I would agree with that. Let's see, what else can we get done today? We should be able to get to the harvest, obviously, of the sorghum. Although I do still have to bale this up, which will take a little bit of time. That might be all we get done, though, is we might just get the harvest of the sorghum done. Which, are we going to have enough money for that? I mean, we'll have enough money for the harvest. Because like I said, I'm just going to grab one of these cheapo harvesters, probably like the Claas or something like that. I wish that was the smaller New Holland. I wish that was the smaller New Holland. Because if it was, that would be amazing right now. I'm not spending 139,000 bucks for a... I mean, we just don't need something that big right now. We don't have enough farm space for that. But like, if it was this one for half price, that would be awesome. Yeah. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that I need to buy the harvester, but I also need to buy the chickens, right? I was going to run chickens, and I don't think we have enough money right now for both. I'd have to sell some silage to have enough money for that, and I don't know if we have enough. How much is our silage worth? For one, it's not silage yet, is it? No, it's not. It's still, most of it's still grass at the moment. I don't know if we'll be able to get our chickens right away. Let me think about that. I think we're close. We're only a few $1,000 off. Well, because I got the cameras for the spot and spray for the weeder, I think that's what put us over. I think if I hadn't done that, I think we would have made the money for it. I may just have to sell some silage off cycle to try to have enough money for the cows, or for the chickens. What's a good time to sell the silage between now and chicken time? I mean, the later I can go, the better, because right now it's actually going to start getting worse. July is actually the lowest, so any month after now, the later the better. Okay. It's possible we just wait till January, sell it at the best price, December or January, and then get the chickens then. Which does mean I have to find a place to store the sorghum for a bit. Now the other side of this is that I'm not going to have enough filled for a full 360 chickens. We just won't have enough. So I need to do the math on how much chicken we can have. And we'll figure that out once we actually get them. We'll do our first harvest and do the math on the first harvest and figure out how many chickens we can support with that. Usually play Call of Duty with the free friends. Been branching out lately. The zombies game mode is fun, but the only thing that is fun. Okay, yeah. I've actually, not on Call of Duty itself, but I've obviously played some of the zombie game modes on some games like that, and they're kind of fun. The whole survival aspect is pretty cool. I may have to check that one out at some point. I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, though, to be honest. Just don't. Oh, really? I mean, I knew that the worker didn't mow the outside on its own, but I didn't actually think about the fact that it wouldn't even cut the grass there. That's a little weird. I mean, I probably haven't played a first-person shooter like on a serious level since James Bond GoldenEye on the N64, if I were to be perfectly honest. But, you know. That's just because, like on a multiplayer level, I cannot stand the idea of people cheating. It drives me up the wall. So I just never play multiplayer on first-person shooters. I know that the number of cheaters is probably much smaller than what it feels like sometimes, but oh, there were a few times where I knew I was going up against somebody who was obviously cheating, and it drove me crazy. Oh, goodness. That's a good point, Ben. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to buy a game just for zombies, to go buy, like, Left 4 Dead or something like that. One good thing about playing Farming Simulator and not having any debt is that the more stuff we get, the more potential that we have, right? Like this is I'm sitting here thinking about where we're going to be here in a moment, right? We're going to have our harvester, and yeah, that's going to burn up most of our money that we got left right now, right? But that harvester gives us that potential to get even more money, and we have no debt. So like we have no monthly debt or anything like that. So the harvester is just money. It's more money at the end of the day, which is fun. Got any New Year's resolutions planned, like maybe doing some logging? There will be some logging someday. So I have to get through the other series first. I gotta finish Sri Lanka. I gotta finish Valley Spring. One of those has got to be finished before I move over to logging. But once one of those is finished, there's a good chance that logging will be coming around the corner when she comes. But no, seriously, the logging is in the future. I'm hyping myself up for it, okay? I am. I mean, the good time to do the logging would have been after the Platinum expansion launched, when they literally added a logging map, but I kind of missed that one, right? I didn't quite meet that that window. The good thing that I've learned is that there's really no true window for Farming Simulator. Some of my oldest stuff is the stuff that gets the most views right now. Look, if you joined the channel and are you watching right now today because you watched the original Elmcreek, I just want to say thank you. But the only other thing I will say is that the number of people that comment about the stupid things I did in that run, and I'm like, you're literally commenting on a video that's like a year and a half old. I have obviously done way more stupid things since then. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I've learned a few things since then. It's like people are very quick to hold you accountable for things that you did while you were learning something. It's like, give me a chance to learn. I mean, you know, it's just funny. Thankfully, most people that watch that series do not judge me for the mistakes, and if anything, learn from the mistakes, just like I did. But there's a good number of people who are very... I mean, it's just YouTube. It's just YouTube comments, and that's just how it is. There are cruel people out there that like to be very aggressive in their commentating. A thing that I need to learn better is to basically ignore stuff like that. Ignore the trolls. Sharon Expert friends, so I technically haven't paid for a game in a while. I think besides the DLC for this game, the last Conan Exiles. Yeah, okay. I mean, the only games I pay for these days are usually games that are going to be on the channel. I don't really pay for a lot of other games. I think the most recent game I played... I mean, I did play for Diablo 4. I already mentioned that earlier in the stream, but that's about it. I mean, to be fair, I play for World of Warcraft. I've been playing World of Warcraft for almost 20 years now, I guess, which is insane to think about. And that's $15 a month for 20 years. So my game budget does go into World of Warcraft a lot for whatever reason. Oh, the grapes. I'm glad you're watching it. I'm glad that you are. All I can say is be kind, please. I know I did so many wrong things in that run, and I got so frustrated in that run. I accept your criticism if you need to provide some. You know, I'll read it. I promise. It's just be kind, because I did not do that was not my best run. I will admit that. I struggled with that one quite a bit. I think I've mentioned this before, but the biggest reason any of my Farming Simulator series struggle is because I'm so focused on pacing the videos for the YouTube channel that I get myself in over my head with loans and things like that, and which actually ruins the pacing. It actually does the opposite of what I'm trying to do in the first place, which is funny, right? It's hilarious that I'm worried about pacing for a YouTube channel, so therefore I go more into debt to try to get some of the bigger equipment to speed things up to make the pacing better, and then it gets me into debt where it runs the pacing in the first. Anyway, so it's a really weird dynamic, which is why with this one I'm very happy that I have not gone into debt. With the Valley Spring one, I haven't really gone into debt. Although the pacing on the Valley Spring one, that one's messed up because I never had any goals. I didn't know what my actual goal was. I have a goal for this one: make some cakes. Every action that I take is kind of leading me towards someday we're going to make some cakes. We've already got the strawberries. We're about to get the chickens. We're working towards making cakes. Obviously, Zelonka's got goals. I really like the Zelonka run. Even though I have debts in the Zelonka run, my debts are perfectly manageable. I've actually done the math on the debts and made sure that I can manage the debts and still get a good income from the vegetables. So I'm happy with that one. But a lot of the other saves, I got too in over my head with the loans and the leases and stuff like that, and I just couldn't dig myself out of the hole. And even though, like I said, it was done under the guise of help with pacing, it actually ruined pacing. Oh, you had to replant them after each harvest? Oh my. Oh, that's so painful. That is so... That's the thing about the grapes. They're so expensive. Like, the initial cost of putting down the grapes is so expensive. It takes years on hard mode difficulty to recover your expense of just planting the grapes in the first place. It is crazy how expensive those things are. That's fair, Ben. Yeah, you can't please everyone. That's a good point. That is a very good advice. Just, you gotta, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before. I do not mind mentioning it now. This is not an advertisement for BetterHelp or anything like that, because I actually don't, I'm not using BetterHelp. I'm using something through my company. But I said that because it seems like every YouTube video you watch these days has an advertisement for BetterHelp. But anyway, I am seeing a therapist right now for the first time in my entire life. Seriously. And it has been so beneficial for me. And exactly what you just said. It's just like, I have a bad habit in my life, just in general, to try to please everybody. It happens with my job, my work, my relationships, everything. Obviously with YouTube, I'm trying to please everybody with YouTube. And I'm learning a lot more about how the person that I need to please the most is myself. And that's really hard for me. Putting myself... Oh, I forgot to go to this other field. Putting myself first is something that is not natural for me. It's just so weird. And so... And the whole idea that if I don't focus on my own happiness first, then I have nothing to give to anybody else in the first place. Like, anyway, like, you have to take care of yourself. Like, even if you're the type of person who loves to help other people and serve other people, which I think I am that kind of person, if I don't serve myself first, then my tank's empty. I have nothing left to give. And so I'm really learning about, you know, taking care of myself, making myself happy, doing things for myself, not worrying about, you know, as much about what other people think, things like that. So I think it's helpful. It's good. If you ever thought about going to therapy and you have the opportunity, and again, the main reason I'm going right now is because my company pays for it for free. I have like 12 free sessions a year. I'm like, you know what? If my company's paying for it for free, I might as well use them. I mean, they're just sitting there. It doesn't really hurt me anything. And so I started going because of that. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really good. This is actually really good to talk to somebody about just stuff. Somebody who's actually trained to like help you with random weird little things. Maybe I should get a sponsorship for BetterHelp. I could tout them or something. It'd be funny. Mental health is important. I mean, physical health is also very, very important. But we tend to focus more on the physical health a lot and ignore the mental health. And mental health is so... Health, I should say, is so valuable. So... Everybody has problems. Everybody has their own terrible thing that's going on in their lives that, you know, you think that, okay, my life is not that bad compared to other people, so why in the world would I go to get help for it? How can I complain about my, you know, my life when there's people that are dealing with so much other terrible things in their lives? But everybody's got their own thing they're dealing with. I think it's important to realize that, and just, you know, nothing wrong with getting help. Anyway. First attempt at Grayson Ellis, it failed so badly. I got the... Yeah, no, yeah, yes. I have the green, well, not the greenhouse, but I have the mod right now for, where is it? I think it's a greenhouse, basically. It's listed under the greenhouse section, I believe. Yeah, I have these. I have these. If I have to do grapes or olives in this save, I'm doing it with this because I'm like, I'm done. Like, I might give grapes and stuff a chance someday, another chance, but right now I'm like, no. I'm done. I'm good. I'm happy that they're in the game, because the cool thing about them being in the game is that it does add a cool new, you know, ways to play the game, new vehicles, things like that. I love that they're experimenting, adding those things in, carrots and all that kind of stuff added in. But, you know, I hope they keep adding more and more crops as time goes by. But as for me, the grapes are just not my thing. Not at all. Oh, I just read yours, Stormy. You spent 900K on grapes and made 57,000 so far. Oh, that sounds so realistic. That's exactly what happened. Oh, they're too expensive. I'm sorry. Look, I get it. Maybe it's realistic, but this is also a video game. Like, come on. Let's not make them so expensive, please. I mean, it's bad enough that the equipment for grapes is so expensive. Right? Like, you have to get the, was it 300,000 bucks for the grape harvester or something crazy like that? Oh, man, I was like in the wrong section for a second there. I was like, wait a minute, where am I looking at? Yeah, it's like 240. Okay. I mean, I guess they have this new one now. 215. It's a little cheaper. But it's just, they're so expensive. Oh, the veggies and orchards add a lot of work. You were right about that. They definitely added up to the work quota quite a bit. I'm trying to think if there's any other crops that they could add that would be significantly different enough from what we've already got. Like the vegetables, I think is quite a bit different, right? I mean, technically we have potatoes and sugar beets, but I think the way they did the vegetables is enough different that it's fine. I'm okay with that. Plus, I never did sugar beets or potatoes anyway. Is there any other type of crop that they could add? I don't know. Rice. That's a good one. Oh, that's very unique. Oh, wow. That would be... Like, I don't even know what the process for growing and harvesting rice even looks like, to be honest. I've never... Like, I've seen the pictures of people, like, out in rice paddies in China and stuff like that. Like, those typical touristy pictures of, you know, people harvesting rice that way. I don't know what it looks like on a industrial level, right? I don't know what it looks like on a big, giant level. That would be interesting, yeah. Peanuts would be interesting. Something like that. Some sort of bean. Peanut or bean, something like that. That would be interesting, I think. It'd be a little bit different, I would imagine. I don't know if I don't know what kind of equipment they use to harvest that either, to be honest, but I would imagine there's some interesting equipment for that type of stuff. Yeah. Other fruits, yeah, I would agree with other fruits and stuff like that too. I'm trying to think if there's any other animals they could add in that would be different enough to matter. I don't know. I mean, besides like goats, obviously they could do goats alongside sheep. Okay, fine, that's fine. Or they could do, you know, ducks. Like in Valley Spring, they have ducks alongside the chickens. Yeah, the stuff like that's fine. Like they could get other varieties of kind of similar type of animals that they already have. But I'm just trying to think if there's anything like different, like completely different from an animal standpoint. Are they? I've actually never looked at machines that get oranges. I would imagine they have to be really unique for sure because, I mean, it's obviously it's like olives, but it's just a big giant tree, like obviously a bigger tree. Buffalo or bison. I mean, buffalo or bison could be added in today, right? Because they're going to be similar to cows. You know, similar enough to cows that I would imagine they could just kind of cover that with just a new model. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that would be like just needs different inputs, gives you different outputs, something like that. I agree, Ben. I agree. I've never done potatoes before, but now that they have the chips, I actually want to do potatoes. I am going to be, I mean, that's going to happen in my Zalanka save. I'm going to have potatoes at some point because they added a production facility. So that's my big thing. And I know I mentioned earlier in the stream that I would love, I want them to keep adding production facilities because that's what gives me reason to grow some of the crops. Fish farming would be interesting. Do you use big tractors and stuff for that though? Like it has to be something that you use like I think you'd have to use like big tractor type equipment for it to kind of fit the model of what they've got going on here. I mean, I know they've got a couple greenhouses, but other than that, almost everything else uses some sort of big giant tractor. They shake the oranges off the tree. I agree that animals do need more mechanics. I'm with you there. I did not know that they shake the oranges off the tree. I've never watched that process before. That's awesome. I will say this about the grapes. Before they added grapes to this video game, I never knew how grapes were harvested. And when they announced grapes for this video game, my brain still could not figure out how How do you harvest grapes with a tractor? I didn't understand it. So it wasn't until I actually saw the vehicle in the game where I'm like, oh wow, that is actually really cool that they actually harvest the grapes by driving over it with this thing that bridges over the grapes. That's one of the things I've learned about this game is that it introduces me to some really cool equipment that actually exists out there. Like, I've actually gone and looked up some of the equipment in this game because I'm like so fascinated by like the fact that this thing actually exists out in the world somewhere and it does this really crazy thing. Farming equipment is very, very technologically advanced for something that feels very technologically backwards. Like, you feel like farming, like our ancestors have been doing farming for thousands of years, right? But the equipment that they use for farming now is just so far advanced. It's just mind-boggling to me sometimes. So many moving parts, how it all works. It's incredible, and I'll be honest. I actually wouldn't mind if they did a little bit more with the terraforming, the landscaping, and allowed you to like dig the holes yourself or fill in the holes yourself. Like, I can go dig up some dirt from somewhere and fill in some of the holes or even things out or dig a bigger hole, things like that. I wouldn't mind if they added a little bit of that to the game a bit more. I think that would be kind of interesting. No, I agree, Ben. When I was hoping there'd be more production for the potatoes, like you said, fries or something cool like that. But then, exactly to what you just said, the only thing to do with them is feed them to the pigs. So I never really did potatoes after that. So that is, and I don't know why. Like, it still serves the same purpose, but for me in my brain, I like the idea that I can add it to some oil and make some potato chips. I don't know. It feels cool to me. I don't know. It's just weird. One advanced feature called an undo button. I like it. Oh, yeah, I've seen the mods. I think I know what you're talking about, Ban Run, where they let you dig and stuff. I think I've seen those before. I think they're a little bit like, I want that to be base game. I feel like something that level has to be base game for it to like really work the right way. But I feel like all the technology's there, right? They have the concept of digging a hole with a cursor with my mouse. There's no reason why I can't dig a hole with the tractor. Build up some stuff. I mean, I'd like to dig a hole to find some water or something like that. To irrigate, you know, things. There's, I don't know, something cool like that would be fun. Well, I don't know if we're going to get to the harvest of the sorghum today or not. It's going to be close. So here's a random question. Have any of you guys ever played FS22 on anything other than 1 day per month? Like, what? Like, how high does this go? Does this go up to 28, 30 days? It goes up to 28 days. Like, why? Why? Like, if you didn't have seasonal growth turned on, maybe. Like, I can't imagine, like, ever. I can't imagine ever playing this more than, like, 1 day. Like, that's the only option that makes sense to me at all. Like, I'm curious if any of you've ever played for more than that. And what do you do? What do you do for the extra couple days? Like, let's say you played out 3 days per month or something like that. What in the world do you do for 2 more days? Like, I have no idea. I already fast forward halfway through the day anyway. 2 more days of that, I'd just be fast forwarding the whole time. That's a good idea, Stormy. Like, I think that's really smart. Check with your community, see what they like. Make that base game. I think that's a really smart idea. Three days on a month with a save with 80 owned fields. Okay, yeah, if you had 80 owned fields, then you definitely are going to be kept busy for 3 days. You're not wrong about that. That makes sense. But that's fair. That's fair. But my goodness, that's a lot. Yes, Banrun. Yeah, real time is actually real time. Now here's the only way I could see playing on a faster speed is if I did this. If I did something like, I don't know, 5x or 10x or 15x, something like that, right? Where I'm going faster speed, and when it gets dark, I have to go to bed, even if I'm not done with my fields, right? If I actually simulated the idea of, all right, I only have so much time to get all my stuff done for the day, and then it gets dark, and it's like, okay, well, I only got to do through, 2 of my fields. I got to do the other 2 tomorrow, and things like that. So you would have to speed up time, the real time, and simulate that aspect. If you're going 1 hour per, like 1-to-1, I don't, to me at some point there's no point, right? Like, I think that would be kind of fun to make the game time go faster. So you're at least, you're limited on what you can do every day. But, as it currently stands, I mean, there's no way I'm ever going to not have time to do just about everything, on a normal size farm. Stormy, wow. That sounds crazy. That sounds pretty crazy. Like if you had animals and you had a bunch of farmland and you're going at like 15x or 30x, some crazy, higher rate of speed. Well, yeah, you have to get all your animals fed every day. Like that has to happen every day no matter what, right? So the first thing you do, you wake up is you feed all your animals. And then you go do whatever farm work you can get done. Maybe you don't get it all done that day. And then you have to go back, wake up the next morning, feed your animals again, and then get a little bit more farm work done. Things like that. Kind of go through that cycle would be kind of an interesting way I could do it, I guess. I mean, to be fair, unless you had the mod, we didn't even have seasonal growth in FS19, right? So seasonal growth definitely adds a layer of interesting stuff to what we do. An entire IRL week of playing of Worth just for harvesting. Wow. Wow. Now, here's the other way that I think playing days per month would work. Is when you're on a server, like if you want to have multiplayer server, I can set the server to run even if you're not logged in, right? Like that's a feature of the game servers. So I could see a concept where, for like even this live stream, I set it up to like a day, like a day, 28 days per month, all that kind of stuff. And so we literally have had a week pass in the video game since the last time I had a live stream to when I had next to have a live stream, and like time has actually passed in the background and stuff like that. That would be a little interesting, maybe. I don't know exactly how it would balance out. I'd have to like tweak some stuff and make sure it worked out okay. But I could see that being kind of interesting, where we literally wake up, and it's literally exactly been a week since the last time in game, since the last time we were logged on. I think I could see a way where that could be add a layer of kind of interesting fun. But I'd have to have a story around it, or some sort of like something around it to make it work, I think. And again, if you had animals, it would make it more complicated. Because I think I think the animals have to be fed every day, no matter what the settings are. I could be wrong. I've never actually tried animals on 28 days or anything like that. Would loan interest kill you? I assume the loan interest would only be monthly, though, right? I've never tried. Is the loan interest daily? Or is the loan interest monthly, and we see it daily because I only play 1 day per month anyway? I actually don't know. I might play around with it one of these days just to see if there's any way to make a fun either live stream or let's play on a more realistic day per month cycle. I don't know. I just don't know if there's a way to make that work. I'd have to look. Yeah, that might be right, Ben. It might be based on the amount of days in the month. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Now, the only way I could see, like, making a fun Let's Play series out of, like, an extended time period in the game is two things. Again, making sure the game ran all the time. So it's always running, right? Like in the background. I could do that by setting up a multiplayer server. But the other thing would be like doing other things, right? You know, it's not time to harvest yet because we're still in April. So we're going to go fishing today, or we're going to go hunting, or like do other, like bring in other video games into a story where like I'm a farmer, but I'm not always farming every day because there's not always something to farm every day. Some days there's, you know, it's time to go do something else, you know, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be fun, but I think it would be, that's about the only way I could think of making that a little bit more interesting, is like just living out the life of a farmer, not necessarily restricting myself to just Farming Simulator as part of that story. There'd be a lot of like, I'd have to figure out how to roleplay really well. Like there'd be a lot of little roleplay elements to make that work. I'm actually surprised. If YouTube is correct, we've had 12 people watching this stream almost the entire stream. Wow, I really appreciate that. That's awesome. So interesting thing, I talked to you about my my therapy sessions earlier. And I'm not going to go into detail about everything we talk about. Obviously, that would be silly. But I talk about casual things, too. I've actually talked to her about the YouTube channel. And I even asked her one time, and I was like, hey, at what point does a dream become a problem, right? And because, you know, I have a dream that I would love to make this YouTube thing a job. That would be amazing if this became a job, and I could just do this all the time, right? But obviously, not every YouTuber can make a job out of... I mean, vast majority of YouTubers or Twitch streamers or whatever do not end up being successful enough to make these jobs, right? And a lot of them burn out, and that's just realistic. So I asked her, I was like, at what point does a dream become a problem? And she literally just said, when it stops being fun and fulfilling. As long as it's still fun and fulfilling, there's no reason to stop, right? And which it is. I mean, it's fun and fulfilling. Now, do I wish it was making a little bit more money so that I could quit my day job and just do this all the time? Sure, that would be awesome. That would be fun. Everybody, I'm sure, wishes that. But if I just set aside the money thing, then I am still having fun. I am still enjoying this. And so therefore, it's not a problem, Mike, for me to continue doing this and have fun with it. I mean, truth be told, to be very, very clear, I would do this for free. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still be doing YouTube and Twitch or whatever, you know, anything like that. I would still be doing exactly what I'm doing with this today. Now, I wouldn't have my day job, obviously, but I would still be doing this. This is not about money. The only reason money comes into the YouTube thing is because I wish that I could just do this. You know what I mean? Like, and have all that extra time to spend with my family and kids and stuff like that. Right now, I'm basically working 2 jobs, right? I've got my day job and then I do this on the side. And so it's almost like 2 jobs. So that's the only reason about money comes into it at all. I do not care about... I do this for the fun. I do not do this for the money at all. Again, other than the fact that money is unfortunately a necessary evil in the world we live in, you know? So that's where I come from with that. So if you hear me talking about money, I hope you don't get that the wrong way. It's not because I'm not grateful for whatever I have already. It's just because I would love to just not have my day job. I would just love to just do this all the time. It'd be amazing. Hopefully that's understood. All right, we got to get us our harvester. Well, I guess not yet. We got to fast forward 1 more month and then we'll get our harvester. How's our strawberries? They're good for at least 1 more month, right? I think they use 1,536 liters per month. So actually they've got a couple more months left to go, I think. Yeah, we're ready to harvest tomorrow. We did get our harvest of sorghum in today. Yay! I was hoping we would. Our first new crop. I thought I heard a duck. That was a weird, strange noise. All right, harvester it is. Oh, which harvester do we want? Have I done the Rostel mesh? I don't know if I've done the Rostel mesh in a while. It's been a while since I've used this one, I think. I might do that one just for something different. Because I have used the... I think I used the Kloss one in the original run, right? And I'm using the New Holland in my Valley Spring, so I might use the... I mean, it's a little bit more expensive. I could arguably save a little bit of money by not doing this, but I don't know, just something different. Is there any difference in speed here? 12 miles per hour, 4,900 liters. I mean, it dries faster, but I think the harvest is the same. It actually holds more as well, which is nice. It's actually the smallest capacity, interestingly enough. What size header does it have baseline? 5 meters. I mean, I think you can technically mix and match headers, but that one's 5.1 meters. That one's 4 meters. I mean, the Kloss one is just cheaper and better. It really is. It is $5,000 cheaper, and it's just feels like it's better in every way. 25,000 bucks for the header. It's 8,500. Okay, no, we have to go Kloss. I was gonna go Rostel, but it is just not worth it. I agree, Stormy. It is just not worth it. Deutschfahr, really? You're talking about this one? That one's just too expensive, though. If it was a little bit cheaper, I would definitely do that. But I'm trying to save enough money for the chickens as well. And I think the Kloss one just makes the most sense. guess I could check here first. Oh, look! A sugar beet harvester. Trying to remember the quote the best I can, but it's like, choose a job you love and you will never work another day. Yeah, that's fair, Ben Run. 100%. If you're working a job you love and you never work another day in your life, that is absolutely true. And I love doing this for sure. I really do. Not that I don't like my day job, but it's just not, it's not a passion, right? My day job is fun. I enjoy it. I like the people I work with. It just doesn't feel that passion that I have of like doing something. Now, if I was working at a video game company, that might be different. And maybe that's what I need to do is find a job at a video game company. All right. Sorry. I'm getting distracted. How much is the header for this? 30. So that's 159. We don't have enough for it anyway. See, unfortunately, we can't do the Deutschfahrer, so we'll have to go Klaas. I know it's boring. I apologize, but we'll try to save up enough money for a better harvester someday. Famous last words. Can I change the chassis color? Oh, that doesn't really change hardly anything. I was hoping it would change all that other green, but I guess we'll go with just green on. No, actually, I like the black. It's a little bit, tiny subtle hint of something different. Anything else I want to change? I don't think so. All right, we'll go with this. Again, boring, but it's gonna get the job done. So, for the cheapest, I think right now we've got to think money. Someday we'll afford better. Yeah, if you haven't watched much of the Zelanka stuff, I do have the mod pack that makes all of the potato and sugar beet harvesters harvest all the other vegetables right now, and I really like that a lot because it doesn't feel like I'm cheating as much, right? Like it feels like it's a realistic solution to the problem that the harvesters for the vegetables just aren't that good. That's my one pet peeve about the vegetable harvesting, is the harvesters are just not great. But that makes them a lot better, I think, and I like that a lot. Oh, I need to get my trailer turned into a grain trailer. Actually, while I'm driving this down there, let me switch over here and have you moving over to the facility. What crop do they have on this other field down here? Canola. Canola doesn't really help us, does it? I'm trying to think of what... I mean, we could sell canola, but... Because I was just thinking maybe it's a good time to buy, you know, a bigger field, just to have a little more crop right now, but it just doesn't... I mean, there's barley down here. We could use that to feed our chickens as well. I think that field's like 70k by itself, isn't it? No, it's 90k. Never mind. Well, we're not buying that. That's the other good thing about the Zelanka map. The fields on the Zelanka map are stupid cheap compared to everything else. Why did I go this way? I need to go around. There's some sorghum right there. I'm assuming that field's pretty expensive as well, though, right? Yeah, that one's 177. Oh, you have to get the unrealistic capacity. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Like, I don't... Some of the mods are just, like you said, unrealistic. And I'm not sure if I like that. Like, they go like super speed or something crazy like that. Which, like, where's the fun in having a harvester that goes 60 miles an hour? Like, I mean, I guess it's fun for some people. But for me, I'm just like, no. I want the harvester to be still more realistic. Even if I'm making it do something it's not designed to do to begin with. All right, let's get you rolling. Let me get you turned into a grain cup carrier. I have not seen if that mod that I'm talking about is available on console, though, unfortunately. But it is in the mod hub. Like, I got it from the Giants mod hub itself. So, maybe it's on console? I guess I could check to see if it's crossplay available. That would tell you. Customize. I mean, I guess we'll go up to the full 12,000. Because this might have to store our stuff for a while, actually. Since we don't have a silo, this might be where we're storing our grain until we get our chickens. Looks like the chickens won't be until January. I'm going to wait till we get our good price for the silage, I think. Which is fine. We'll make it work. It works off the intervals you have in game. Is that... But doesn't the game autosave every, like, 15 minutes? Like, yeah, it's got an autosave interval, right? Or are you talking about something... Like, what does it do that's different in Banrun, that the game doesn't do? Yeah, okay, Stormy, that's what I have. That's kind of what I have. I have the one where it turns... I mean, the one I have turns the beets and the potatoes in. I haven't been using the potatoes one, but I have been using the beets harvesters as multi-fruit, which is really nice. Oh, it only saves when you open the menu? Oh. I've never noticed that. I guess that makes sense. Because otherwise it would lag me out in-game for a moment, right? If it was auto-saving. I've never thought about that. Okay. That makes perfect sense now. I mean, obviously, I go to the game menu to quit the game, which is why I've never noticed that the autosave is only at certain... It's only when you open the menu, because it's always autosaved, right? Like, that's never a point where it's not autosaved for me. I had never thought about that. Interesting. Oh, you're talking about the really expensive self-propelled one? Yeah. I like the fact that the mod I have lets you use these as well, which is really nice. So I have the one that lets me use this for all the fruits, which is cool. It's just enough to get the job done. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love the self-propelled ones because these are all like this one. Anyway, these are awesome, right? Like, these are great. Look, there's nothing wrong with this. You guys know the only issue I have with this is it does not have internal storage. If it had internal storage, I would have zero issues with this whatsoever. But the fact that it doesn't is the only thing I hate about that stupid thing. I don't know what mod I have, or if it's just part of the base game, that lets me, just barely if I'm not careful, plant stuff on somebody else's field. I don't know why, but obviously when I was doing the seeding earlier, I just clipped into this field slightly. So now there's some sorghum in the middle of this field. I think it's kind of funny. Alright, well, stream's about to be ended, but we got to harvesting our sorghum. That is awesome. Next live stream, we will definitely get to the chickens. That's going to happen for sure. So we'll be able to sell enough silage to buy the chicken coop, which I think is what, 70 something thousand? 79. So we're almost there now. We're only 12,000 short right now. But we'll be buying the chicken coop for sure. And this will be where we basically store our grain for now. And I don't know if we'll start off with 360 chickens. We probably won't. But we'll get as many chickens as we can support with the harvester. You know, with the amount of harvest we get off this field. I'm not even sure where I'm going to put this thing. I might put it over here or something. Just kind of... I think that's where I put it on the other save, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, at some point I wouldn't mind putting it... Just getting rid of this field because I like the idea of that. I'll figure it out. But, like I said, we'll start with however many chickens we can support with the amount of grain we get off of one harvest. Oh, it's a base game about storming. It's funny. It makes me laugh every time I see it. All right. Well, I guess that's that. I mean, I appreciate everybody that joined, and I think we had some fun conversations about random things that have nothing to do with farming while we farmed. And I think that's the good thing about this game is that we can talk about... It's a game that doesn't take a lot of thought, right? When I'm playing Civilization, I kind of have to focus on Civilization, right? But a game like this, I can kind of just let it happen in the background. We can have some fun. We can just talk about stuff. I really appreciate that. So now the one thing I will say about that is it does require people to actually show up. So I appreciate all you guys that did show up. Now, and if you're watching after the fact, I appreciate you as well. Don't get me wrong. Everybody that watches helps out the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. It's really great. But, all right, we'll go ahead and we're going to go ahead and stop there here. Let me get back into this. Let me get my little guy stopped here for a moment. No, I appreciate it, Stormy. I know that it's very early for you or very late, whichever way you look at it. So I appreciate you, and I think all you guys that have been showing up that are coming from overseas. That's really awesome. That really feels really cool. My next live stream will be Civilization on Saturday. We're going to continue our Norway run. And then after that, we'll have Football Manager on Monday again. That's getting kind of interesting. And then, of course, we'll be back on this on Wednesday. So the next time you guys see me will be next year if you're only here for the Farming Simulator content, which is crazy. We're going to be in 2024, guys. That is crazy. I do definitely wish all of you guys a very great New Year's. I hope that you all have fun, you know, relaxing, whatever it may be. And hopefully 2024 is good for all of you. I hope you are all blessed in 2024. I feel very blessed already. I think 2024 is going to be great for me as well. But I definitely wish good blessings and happiness and good things for all of you guys leading into the new year. But yeah, thanks again. And I will see you guys next time. May God bless you. Have a great time, guys.